Well, appreciate your with me. Whatever part of the earth you might be connecting with at this moment, I want to say I'm highly elated to host you. So I enjoy you to stay connected. But one thing you will do for me, please, as you come on live, make sure you go like the live stream. Make sure you comment. Don't just comment. Press the notification button. As you press the notification button, it will be telling you that each time I drop a video, you will be one of my guests. Endeavor to go and watch. And as you watch, you'll be blessed. I do shorts. My shorts are nuggets. Just to tell you that the troubles of life has not come to put you off. He said, as trouble comes in the mix of your turbulence time and challenges, they are building blocks of strength that God is putting in you. Remember, God did not tell us in this life that we will not go through trials. Also remember that God does not try any man. The Bible said we are being tried if we are lustful on our own. God does not try. But God did not promise us that we'll not go through trials. But when we go through the trials, we will come out better. Oh, yeah, the book of James rightly said, I count it all joy. James chapter 1 said, count it all joy. Chapter 1, verse 2 says, count it all joy when you go through diverse trials. Other translation, when you go through troubles. The trouble. So troubles have not come to kill you, to make you a better person. Wisdom. Why we can't ask you to ask for wisdom? Because in the crisis situation, you need wisdom to manage the crisis. Well, once again, you are welcome. What I want to be dealing on this, the situation, the topic I want to talk on today is how do you overcome or how do you manage your crisis situation? How do you manage your fear in the mix of crisis? How do you manage your fear in the mix of crisis? Or how do you overcome fear and mix crisis? There's crisis everywhere. When we talk about troubles, it's crisis situation. There's crisis everywhere. There's crisis in your home. There's crisis in the street. There's crisis, in your family. There's crisis in your relationship. There's crisis everywhere you turn. There's crisis. There seems to be nowhere that is free. In short, we live in a crisis world. We live in a world whereby things looks as if it's turning upside down. But God said, in the mix of that, you can overcome. He didn't just say you can overcome. You are over. God created Okay. Well, if you look at the situation of life, there's crisis everywhere. In the marriage home, there's crisis. In your family home, there's crisis. In your business, there's crisis. In your place, crisis. We live in a toxic world. So in the mix of this toxicity, how do you manage? In short, if you look at it very well, you get to begin to understand that in this world there will be trials and tribulations, but God has already called us overcomers. So you begin to look at it from that point of the Word of God that call you an overcomer. You are an overcomer. So in every situation that you must go through in life, have it at the back of your mind that you have already overcome. What gives you that confidence? What gives you that assurance? Because Jesus has gone ahead of you. Thank you very much. If you are joining me at this hour, please can you give me a thumb up? Let me know what part of the world you are connecting from. You are just joining me in 1 minute 25 seconds. I appreciate you are coming in. Please can you give me a thumb up? Let me know what part of the earth you are connecting from. And if you are connecting at this hour, at this moment, you are welcome. I'm highly elated to have a time with you. We're just going to have a discourse. We're just going to rub minds together that we all, I mean, as humans, we're faced with it. What's your challenge? And I'll tell you what it is. Let me just tell you a story from the Bible. This is, I mean, yesterday morning I was reading Genesis chapter 1, and God, I mean, the Bible tells that God created the heavens and the earth, and when God looked at the from heaven, He looked down on the heaven on the earth. He said the earth was and void, which means to say it was. You see, I mean, it's the devil. The devil has inhabited when he came from heaven. He came to the whole earth, and darkness covered the whole earth. So when God peeped from heaven and looked at the earth, He saw so much darkness. And my Bible tells me that God did not like what He saw. What did God do? God spoke what He wants to see because He's light. God said, "Let there be light." And you know what? There was light. And they said, "Light surfaced, and the darkness could not comprehend it." In the book of John, so you see, darkness and light cannot coexist. That's why when God created us in the earth, He didn't tell us that we'll not go through crisis. Because why? There's a strong man in the earth, which is the devil, that does not want the sons of God to thrive. So God put us in the earth, I mean, to go through situations and overcome. He said, "You are overcome. You are an overcomer." That's what God called. He said, "You called us overcomers." Even before you arrive the earth, you are already an overcomer. Have it at the back of your mind that you have come to conquer the earth. You have not come to negotiate. So one thing you should know is that, I mean, greater is He that is in you. come, God did not thank you for joining me. God did not put you in the earth to struggle. I don't want to use the word struggle. You can't struggle when you have God in you. God and they that are in the world. That was when because God has conquered. The Bible says, greater is he that is in me than they are in the world. So if you are joining me, can you give me a thumb up? Let me know what part of the earth you are connecting. And you are an overcomer. You have already overcome. Even before you step into the earth, God has put what it takes for you to overcome. So you need not to fear. You need not to fear. But God did not say, even in the mix of the journey of life, you will go through situations and circumstances that will want to, oppose you in this journey. Remember, life is a journey, and everyone on this life is on a destination. You are going somewhere. I'm telling you, you are not on this earth. Just wondering. You are on purpose. You have a purpose. God has sent you on a purpose. Like we're discussing today with my wife. Actually, God actually brought everyone to this earth to work. You didn't come to the earth to just laze around. God did not create you to just wander around. When God, before you came to the earth, there's a job description for you. Jesus Christ said, he said, my meat is to do the will of him that has sent me and to finish it. That meat, what gives me satisfaction is to do the will of the Father and to finish it. So you are on an assignment. You are on an assignment. So I'm just here to establish this fact again. This truth, not fact. Fact is a statement, that is made by man. Truth is the word of God. The word of God does not change, is forever settled. That truth situation of life that is, troubling you, true in life, that is trying to overcome. Some people go to that level, I want to commit suicide. I've gone on telling me I'm tired. I've come to my weekend and I want to commit suicide. Suicide is not an option. My Go watch my videos. It will encourage you. Now, when you come to that level, I call it your bus stop, your last bus stop of life, where situation of life has beaten you black and blue and you cannot help yourself, which means your strength has failed you. Remember, the human strength cannot help you in these troubles of life. The only thing that can help you when you come to that level whereby you are weak, that is when the strength of God comes in. Remember, God did not say we'll not go through trials and tribulations. There are trials and tribulations. But God is the only one that can help us to overcome if only we come to that place of declaring that I have come to this weekend, I cannot help myself. Heaven only helps those that cannot help themselves. Remember, God said in Jeremiah 11:9, he said, my thought towards you is not of evil, but of good. So if God has good intention about you, you are covered. God never had say you will give us an expected. Remember the topic again and treating is that, how to overcome your fears. Your fears. There are different kind of fears. There's fear of the unknown. There's afraid of the future. What is my? There's fear of marriage. I've seen people that say, "Oh, I don't know what is there for me. What is there for me?" But some people have fear. There are different kind of fear. You understand what I mean? There are people that have fear in their place of work. Will I get promoted? Will I be sacked? There are people that different kind of fear. That's why I say, how do you overcome your fears amidst the crisis? So different kind of fear. But let's first of all take it one by one. What is fear? Fear, in a one literal translation, means having fear. False evidence appearing to be real. That's our one literal translation. False evidence appearing to be real, which means what you look as fear does not exist. Before God, it does not exist. So fear is not in the calendar of God. It's not in the calendar for a child of God. Because God has not given you the spirit of fear. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but that of love, of power, and of a sound mind. You might ask me, why am I talking like this? I just felt, I felt I should talk to someone. If you're listening to me out there, can you come in? Let's have a chat. It might be have a word for someone. So I felt I'm coming today out as a pastor, so fear has killed the dreams of people. Fear has killed the visions of people. Fear has killed good marriages. Fear has killed, this. Oh, you see, fear comes in various ways. Have you come to that level, even you yourself, you're afraid of yourself? Of themselves. They're not sure of themselves. You don't have confidence. That's why that spirit in Second Timothy, First Timothy chapter 2. Giving us the ability. Some people don't have the ability to express themselves. When it comes to expressing yourself in the public, you are timid. Not the spirit of God. You can't defend yourself. You can't talk for yourself. That is the spirit of timidity. God has not given you that, but He has given you the spirit of love, power, and of a sound mind, soundness of mind. That's what God has given you. I'm saying this. Let me take you to the Bible and give you a story, of the Israelites in Egypt. When you know the story when they got stuck in Egypt, and Pharaoh subject them. After the Pharaoh that knew not Joseph came to the throne, and he saw it that if I allow these people to be in the country, the Israelites, thank you for liking this live stream, but can you tell me what part of the earth you are connecting from? I just want to know you. I can take a detour so that we can gist. I just want to be a blessing to someone. Can you let me know what part of the earth you are connecting from? Because I'm talking to someone, I'm ministering to someone. So if you feel blessed, can you just connect? Let me know what part of the earth you are. If I'm ministering to you, I'm telling you the story of the Israelites in Egypt. So when that Pharaoh came and realized that these people Okay, what I'm trying to say in essence is that, remember, my title again is How Do I Overcome, fear, the spirit of fear. Fear is a spirit. Just that's the spirit of darkness. The spirit of fear is the spirit of darkness. You over your defense mechanism. When you have going to right now is that to me, and he's going to send them a Messiah. He sent them the person of Moses. And Moses came to overcome, to rescue the people from Egypt. He rescued them from, he took them, he was taking them to the promised land. And when they got to the Red Sea, I'm telling you a crisis situation right now. When they got to the Red Sea, they got stuck. I want to let you know what the spirit of fear can do, can destroy your defense mechanism. But when the people were going, they came to the Red Sea, they became stuck. The Red Sea was in their front. There were mountains by their side, but both sides, left and right, there were the Egyptians coming. Remember, it was God that made the Egyptians to go after the Israelites. And you see, the people were confused. They were in a mix of a crisis situation. Look at the Red Sea, look at them, look at the Egyptians. They were confused, so they were all overwhelmed by the spirit of fear. That's what the spirit of fear can do. These are a people that they are not yet an army. They are a defenseless people, no weapon. Oh, so in that situation, in a situation whereby you are so if it's you that I'm ministering to this afternoon, I'm highly excited about it because God has sent me to minister to you. But eventually, you have the spirit of fear. I'm here to minister to you. So I'm talking to you about the Israelites. They were overwhelmed. In that confusion statement that Moses made, Moses said, "Be still and see the salvation of the Lord." So in every situation of your life, you might have crisis. You might have crisis in your marriage. You might have crisis in your, in your community. You might have crisis in your life, in your business, in different facets of your life. You mismanage finances. You have lost money in various ways, and you are confused. I'm telling you, God is not the author of confusion. Just like the Israelites that found themselves at the Red Sea, there's a solution. What did Moses tell them? He said, "Be still and see the salvation of the Lord." So what I'm talking to someone right now, you have found yourself in a crisis situation. It's not a time for you to commit suicide. I will tell you that be still and see the salvation of the Lord. How do you see the salvation of the Lord? Wait for God. I mean, God will ask, what happened at the Red Sea? When the people cried to Moses, Moses had no one to cry to like him. Moses was a meek man. What did Moses do? He turned to God and he cried to God. And the Bible said, and God said, "Why are you crying to me? Tell the people to keep going." You know why I laugh? Why will God do that? He said, "Tell the people to keep going in the mix of the crowd. Even if they're walking, keep Moses is not a man that want to, rationalize the word of God. Speaks to your situation and tell you will become of the crisis. When God says it is well, know that it is well. But when God come you and makes the Christ in the mix of that Christ, to keep, and you know what? Moses took command and tell the people keep going in. And what happened? He said, "What I'm gonna to Moses? What do you have in your hand? A rod." So whatever you have in your hand, in the mix of your crisis, is what God will use to solve your situation. I'm telling you. So what you need to come out of that crisis situation you find yourself is in your hands. You have it, just like Moses having the rod. I don't know. Yours might not be a rod. Yours might be someone that God has positioned there. Yours might just be, some things are placed so that you can take advantage of it. If you don't take advantage of it, you'll be left. So the miracle that that which did the miracle for the Israelites was that rod that Moses was holding, and God says, "Stretch the rod." Immediately Moses stretched the rod. What happened? The Red Sea parted. And what happened? One wonderful thing that happened there that today I cannot phantom is that the kind of faith. You see, what moves God is not fear. Fear is from the devil, but faith is what moves God. So I began, I think in pictures when I read the Bible, I see it as if it's just happening. I imagine the kind of faith people exhibit. Can you imagine a Red Sea parted, and the people had the courage to walk in and pass through that is on its own. That's the only thing people do not have seen a thing like that before. Have you seen a Red Sea parted? Have you ever seen a sea parted and you pass it? The people muster a faith, and that was what God saw. What I'm trying to say here right now is that fear does not move God. What moves God is your faith. When God tells you to be still, you will see my hands. Believe in His words and move it in. So what moves God is your faith. What moves the people? What moves God about the Israelites when God said, "Be still," and God parted the Red Sea? There's so much courage to cross the Red Sea. That was the greatest. I think, in short, that miracle of crossing the Red Sea was the greatest miracle of all time. The greatest miracle in the Bible was that crossing of the Red Sea. You see the scenario I saw there again was when after the people have crossed, the Israel have crossed, then the Egyptians came and they now saw that the people were crossing. It didn't even cross their mind that these people were moving with a God, a mysterious God that parted the right. See, they too also mustered their courage. But you see, if you don't believe in God, the faith of God cannot work for you. You must believe that is a rewarder of they that diligently seek Him. So you see, they saw the kind of courage which is faith. The Egyptians saw that these people had courage to cross. They too want to do the same, but they didn't have the trying to reach out to somebody. I mean, the message I have in my heart, I'm trying to pour it out to, to deal with the spirit in anyone part of the earth we are connecting from. I want to He said, without faith, it's impossible to walk with God. For they that must walk with Him must believe that He exists. The Egyptians don't believe that God exists and that He's a rewarder of they that diligently seek Him. So if you seek God, even in the midst of your crisis, you will overcome. I'm out here just to encourage one person because that was what I felt in my spirit. I should talk about how you can manage your fears in the midst of your crisis situation. Remember, fear will always come. It's a spirit that hovers over the earth. Remember when God was looking at the earth, he saw darkness. The spirit of darkness is synonymous with the spirit of fear. God is light. When God looked in Genesis chapter 1, he is light. He looked down the heaven and he saw darkness. That was fear. And what did God overcome? God overcome, light with fear. God is light. God is faith. So if you have God in you, you have overcome. He said, look, my children, if you have God in you, you have overcome the earth. But God did not promise us that we will not have crisis on the earth. But you that have God in you, you have overcome. So I've come to encourage one person today. We should give it a thumb up, and then whatever part of